Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today for this brief practice of 3 calming yoga poses. So you may need a couple blocks. You might want a blanket laid out on your mat and maybe another blanket as well. And then let's get started. So sometimes our bodies can be overstressed, whether you have a stressful job or just a life situation that causes you stress. It's part of our daily life. So taking some time for your self-care is really important. And doing these 3 yoga poses, and you could just do one if you like. You can choose your favorite one and just focus on that. So we'll be getting into a few different positions today. Always listen to your body. If anything doesn't make sense to you or doesn't feel good in your body, just find variations. So you'll want to have a couple blocks. And for our first pose, we're going to use one block. So we'll be coming into a child's pose where we want to have our spine fairly parallel to the mat rather than having the hips up too high, which can feel like your head is ramming into the mat. So coming into your child's pose, widen your knees. You can have the toes touching or slightly separated. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Your hips may not go back all the way, that's okay. So bring a block just about under your nose, come onto your forearms, and then position the block, maybe at the medium setting or maybe the low setting. And bring your forehead onto the block. So you want to lengthen the back of your neck and have it feel comfortable. So you might bring your arms back a little bit. You might bring your knees in a little bit, whatever feels good. So bringing that block in, you might even hug your knees a little with your arms and just make enough room for your belly that it feels comfortable for you. And you can stay in this position as long as you would like. We're going to stay in this position for maybe about 7 or more breaths. You can always stay longer and just notice how you feel. Again, make sure knees are happy. Soften into the upper back and shoulders. And you can focus on your breath. If it feels like your head is too high, and if your hips are at your heels, you might benefit from having the block lower. Just experiment and find what feels best to you. You might move your arms more forward if that feels more comfortable. Make it as comfortable as you need to, and breathe here. Stay present. And then, of course, whenever you're ready, slowly press into your forearms, lift your head. And make your way back up to a seat and pause. Notice how you feel. Sometimes child's pose is all you need. Another one of my favorite calming poses is legs up the wall. So we're going to be up against a wall, hopefully. If you can't be up against a wall, you can also have your legs just sort of on a chair, seat of a chair, or on a couch. With the wall, we want our hips close to the wall. So having a blanket right up against the wall can feel really nice. So to get close to the wall, you might sit to the edge of your mat on either side of where you want to lay with your back to the wall. And then you're going to lay down and swing your legs up the wall. Keep your hips close to the wall. Come on down onto one side and swing those legs up. And then once you're there, you can maneuver your hips a little bit. You can either have your hips close to the wall, or if your hamstrings are real tight and that's too uncomfortable, you might want to move your hips a few inches further away from the wall. And then just begin to relax. So what's also really nice, if you have an eye pillow or a cloth you could put over your eyes, or an eye mask, that can feel really good. And just stay here for as long as you have time for. This is a wonderful restorative and calming pose. Legs up the wall can be a whole yoga practice on its own, especially if you are on your feet most of the day. And also invite your upper back and shoulders to relax, releasing into the support beneath you. You might notice sensations in your legs, just relaxing here, letting go. And then once you're ready to come out of this pose, You can slowly bend your knees, roll over to one side, and slowly make your way back up to a seat and pause. Notice how you feel. So again, either of those poses on their own is wonderful for calming the nervous system. The other one is a two-part pose. So we're going to come onto our bellies and first come into Sphinx. So we're going to get some action in the body, pressing into the forearms, press into your legs a little bit, pressing into your hands and forearms like you're pulling yourself forward on your mat, drawing your heart forward and drawing the lower ribs away from the mat as you gaze down towards the top of your mat. And just being here for as long as makes sense to you, feeling that engagement in the upper back and shoulders. Shoulder girdle is active, ears reaching away from your shoulders. Press into the tops of your feet. And you might just stay here for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, making your way into Makarasana. Stack your hands, elbows go out to the side, and just rest your head on the back of your hands. Relax completely. Imagine your body is soft and heavy and spreading like water on your mat. Letting go. Notice your breath. Maybe feel your belly press into the mat as you inhale. And each exhale, invite your body to soften even more. Releasing and letting go as you breathe here. And then again, when you're ready, lift your head. Pause. You might lift your hips. You might even come into a child's pose again. Maybe a different variation with your arms stretched out and your forehead to the mat or your hands or a prop. And then when you're ready, make your way back up to a seat and notice how you feel. Notice if you feel calmer, more relaxed. And again, you might choose any one of those three poses to do on your own, or on its own, or incorporate two or all three or even more into your practice. So I hope you enjoyed these 3 calming poses today. Can help soothe your nervous system and just relieve a little bit of stress. So thank you again. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the mat.